Believe it or not, the words you choose to put on your website is honestly the single most impactful element when it comes to persuading prospects to become customers. So, are you saying the right things? In this video, I'm going to be showing you some really interesting and honestly surprising copy tweaks that you can start using today to build trust on your website. So by the end of this video, you're going to be much savvier in writing your copy so you can stand apart from your competition and ultimately build lots of trust on your website. Whenever I start working with a new client, or just when I'm looking at other websites, for the purposes of YouTube videos here, it's amazing how many people are missing opportunities on their websites for really connecting in a meaningful way. So in this video, I'm going to show you a few things you can do to really get things going in a positive direction. So right off the top, let's talk about the first one, which is spell out who you're not a good fit for. So most businesses are so worried about leaving any money on the table that they become very bland in their marketing, basically claiming that they're the perfect choice for absolutely everybody. The truth is, no business is for absolutely everybody. So if you are the business that's willing to specify which prospects you're not a good fit for, then that is the moment when you become infinitely more attractive to the ones who are a good fit for you. For instance, I exclude e-commerce businesses. I basically don't work with them. And by saying that I work exclusively for service businesses instead, I do leave out a whole bunch of people that might want to hire me. But the service businesses who I do my best work for, that makes them even more interested in working with me because I come right out and say that I specialize in exactly what they need. So just be straight out about who you are and who you're not as a business. What I like to do is include a "Are we a good fit?" page where I basically say, if this is you, then we'll probably work very well together. But if this is you, I probably won't be able to do a very good job for you, So honestly, I recommend every business should really ask themselves, who is not going to have a good experience with a company like us? You want to look for ways to show the other side of the coin, just to emphasize that you aren't biased. So if you're willing to come right out and talk about who you're not a good fit for, it really makes you look a lot less biased as a company and therefore much more trustworthy. And this honestly eliminates people you might not want to work with anyway and lets the right ones know exactly how right for them you are. Okay, next up, you want to speak their language. So, and what I don't mean here is, Spanish or English, things like that. What I really mean is speaking to people in a way that connects with them by using the words and phrases that they use themselves. It's the feelings they're having in that moment that allow them to say, this company gets me, this person gets me. So if you're speaking their language and use the words that they are using and thinking, it really gives a sense of bonding between you and them. So how do you do this? It's really easy actually. Just think of the problems your customers have and the exact words they use to describe them. Either you hear them directly from them, you or your sales team hear these words. But if you're new and don't have that experience yet, what you want to do is go on review sites like Yelp and see the wording that people use most often when they're talking about a service like yours. And the more you can really just parrot back those words that they're using, the more people will think, these guys get me. All right, next, we versus you statements. So if you look at the headlines of 90% of websites, you usually see that it's all about them bragging about their brand, using words like we and us. So what I want you to do here is really count the ratio of we versus you on your website. You or yours, we or our. So if you look at most websites, you're going to see a ratio of about 80% saying us or we, and 20% saying you. Honestly, it's got to be the other way around. So on the homepage and throughout your site, especially in headlines, 80% of those statements should be based on you or your. In other words, whenever you think it's a good idea to talk about yourself as a business, turn it around onto your customer and show that you know what the problem they're facing is, and then come in and say, but don't worry, we know how to fix it for you. Okay, next is reversing the curse of knowledge. So the curse of knowledge is basically a phenomenon that happens when you're communicating or thinking in a way that basically assumes everybody coming to your website understands all the words you're using within your business because you're used to saying it that way. This usually occurs when someone basically assumes that others have the same background they do to understand. So many marketers and business owners fall victim to the curse of knowledge because they are so intimately familiar with their own product, or because they're selling a really complex or technical product or service to a less savvy audience. And the curse of knowledge honestly applies to more than just your website copy. It can come up in face-to-face meetings and sales pitches too. So if you overestimate the knowledge of the audience you're talking to, they probably won't get anything out of it. Think to yourself, how much experience and knowledge does your audience have about this topic? You want to explain your point in the simplest terms you can possibly use. So here are some easy ways to overcome the curse of knowledge and reverse it. So you want to know your customers inside and out. You want to know that education level, the knowledge level. So ditch your assumptions about it and find out how much they know by talking to a few of them, which you should be doing anyway. These are your customers. And the next thing you want to do is really write everything you write on your website in layman terms without jargon. Don't expect that your customers are going to put the time in to learn the vocabulary of your product or industry. Your terminology really doesn't come off as impressive or expertise. It just creates confusion, and a confused mind never buys. Believe it or not, the best websites that connect the most with readers write at an 8th grade reading level or lower. So you should just use an app like Hemingway Writer to help you make your writing bolder and clearer for your audience. It's not going to really rewrite anything for you, but it's going to give you some great suggestions of when you may not be being clear. And speaking of that, I want to help you eliminate even more confusion from your website so you can just cut through the noise and speak clearly and effectively to your customers. So I've got a free 60-minute masterclass to help you do just that. It's called How to Create and Launch Your Own Profitable Client-Generating Website. And the only way to get in on it is to sign up right here, and I'm going to email you access immediately. So check it out. You don't want to miss it, and I'll see you on the inside.